With YouTube attacking alternative media, please consider supporting the channel via Patreon for just $1 per month. Link below. What we got going on right now is that Warner's is working on Birds of Prey and not Gotham City Sirens, which is a big deal, actually, because when Suicide Squad came out in August 2016 and went on to make as much money as it went on to make, which to many people's surprise was actually a lot, the big standout was Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. And it's true, she did a really good job. And so obviously they wanted to find a way to capitalize on that. They wanted to find a way to build off that. And they basically started talking about, I mean, you were hearing reports that there were like 9 Harley Quinn-esque movies in development. 9. Like, this was something that Warner's was going to, sink their teeth into and never, ever, 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 ever let go. And there's actually a solid reason for that. And this also has a lot to do with why Disney created the Planes franchise. It's all about merchandising. Now, when you think about DC-related products, especially in terms of, merchandise, what do you think is the #1 seller? Oh, that's obviously Batman. That's confirmed. What's the #2? Superman, Wonder Woman, the Joker, right? Aquaman? No. It is, in fact, Harley Quinn is the #2 merchandise seller. And one of the big reasons why Suicide Squad was so successful with young women was that they went there to go see a kick-ass woman on screen, and they really, really, really liked it. That was a big part of that too. So yeah, ultimately representation matters. And that is where this whole thing plays out. Now, it says here that Gotham City Sirens is officially dead, at least it looks like. Last month, Margot Robbie said that she was working on a new movie featuring Harley Quinn and her girlfriends that wasn't Gotham City Sirens. According to the Wrap, Warner's is working on 3 movies that feature Harley Quinn. The first is obviously Suicide Squad 2, which makes sense, right, given the success of the first movie. And the cast is already training for it. They've posted some photos on Instagram. Now, the next up is Birds of Prey. Transformers spin-off Bumblebee writer Christina Hodson is working on the script. Apparently, Margot Robbie is a big fan of the Bird of Prey comics, and this lines up with what she said in an interview about a secret Harley Quinn movie. That would be great as a great opportunity to feature Batgirl as well. And I have a feeling that we're going to start seeing a lot more female comic book characters coming into the big screen. There's nothing wrong with this. The success of Harley Quinn and Suicide Squad, the success of Wonder Woman, it's time. It's definitely time. And I really want to see what's going to be going on with that. But also think about it like this too. Gotham City Sirens was meant to be the big, Poison Ivy, Catwoman, Harley Quinn movie that was, I think, would have been insanely good. But what happened ultimately was David Ayer was meant to, I think, write and direct that one, or at least direct. But then he went over to go do Bright for Netflix. And he even said, leading up to the release of Bright, that, he was kind of worried about it because of the negative critical response to Suicide Squad was so massive in some respects that it just kind of like really threw him off his game. Now, Ayer is a very good director if he's given the time to craft the right movie. I think Suicide Squad, him having 6 weeks to write the script that they shot and then to go off and shoot the movie, to have it do as well as it did under those circumstances, I think obviously, I think it worked out well. But he's also going back over to Netflix to do Bright 2, because Max Landis is no longer in the picture due to the allegations made against him. And also ever since those, ever since he was pulled off Bright and everything else, there's been no more claims made about Max, but we can talk about that later. So what you've got essentially is Ayer, I think, is not so much maybe done with the DCEU, but if he can find more creative freedom under Netflix, he'll probably stay with that, right? He'll probably stay with that because why wouldn't you? Bright was well. It was a $90 million movie. It's actually one of the top things that Netflix has put out. Is it really pushed subscriber growth, and that's why they're going to make Bright their kind of main key franchise on the in terms of films for a while. Now, finally, the Joker versus Harley movie is still in the works. So you've got Glenn Ficarra and John Arequa in talks to write and direct. Robbie has worked with the duo before in 2015's Focus, which co-starred Will Smith. And that was actually quite a good movie. I really liked that. And the same was Whiskey Tango Foxtrot was also a good movie. I like that one too. So I feel like those guys might be able to handle that dynamic, because the dynamic between Margot Robbie and Will Smith's character in Focus was good. And so if they can maybe take that and exchange Will Smith for Jared Leto and have a kind of a weird romantic Joker Harley movie, it could in fact play out. At the same time though, and this is just me spitballing here, I'd actually rather see those guys tackle a Deadshot Harley Quinn movie because the chemistry between Will Smith and Margot Robbie is very good. It worked with Focus. It worked very well with Suicide Squad. They had good chemistry together. And also in the Assault on Arkham movie, Harley Quinn and Deadshot bone. So, you know, I'm just saying, like, there's already kind of been a pre-established thing there. And if the Joker is just kind of being too crazy, if Jared Leto is just being too nuts, then focus on that and bring in someone else later on. But at the same time, that's pretty much what's going on. So basically, Gotham City Sirens, from the looks of it, is toast, which is unfortunate because I really wanted to see Poison Ivy and Catwoman. I want to see them brought into the DCEU. I want to see how these characters operate with one another. But I get what they're working on, and DC at this point is doing a massive restructure. They are very much going to be probably focusing on smaller characters leading into a larger team up, and building a trilogy, building a franchise off of that now versus where they were at before, which is definitely not that to the best degree. But hopefully, William Hanada will be able to take what he did with The Conjuring and push that with the DCEU and make these movies work really well. Because ultimately, I really want to see them. I really want to see what they accomplish, and I got nothing but high hopes.